Hey everyone, welcome back to the Speak Up Erika podcast, and my guest today is Mango.
Okay, Mango. So, to start off, to get to know you, I have two fun questions to ask. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's good. That's current. You could keep it in.
Okay.
There's gonna be a lot of
Yeah.
non-words here. So.
Yeah. Okay, my first question is, do you believe in aliens?
I definitely do, and I'm actually waiting for them to come and abduct me. Because honestly, I feel like life is so boring. It'd be interesting. It's one of my favorite genres is sci-fi. And,
Yeah.
I just love the idea of aliens, and I kind of think they're already here.
Yeah.
But
I think they're definitely here, but it's interesting that you say that you're waiting for them to abduct you, because I think that not a lot of people think about wanting to be abducted, I guess, by the aliens.
Just have you watched the X-Files?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, that was a theme in the X-Files, because in the X-Files.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the characters does get abducted by aliens, but
oh wow,
I feel like that's where the seed was planted.
Right. Yeah.
In my youth.
Yeah. Interesting. And then my other question is, if you had 3 wishes, what would they be?
My first wish would be the ability to teleport, because I don't drive. And then my second wish, I think it would be to always either, I don't know if I guess to always be beautiful to myself. To see myself as beautiful.
Yeah.
Because that's something I struggle with. And then the third wish, I feel like, I know people say world peace or end world hunger, but I don't think those things are possible. Anyway,
yeah. Because it's so complex that you don't know if it can truly be solved.
Yeah, or what the repercussions would be.
Yeah, for one of those time travel movies, if you change something in the past, this happens.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess I would wish for happiness and health for my family, and for the rest of their lives, so but I know that they'd be feel they'd die peacefully, not by anything tragic,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a sloppy wish, but that's my wish. So
I think those are good.
Yeah, thank you.
I think your first wish with the superpower, that's cool.
That's true, because I feel I kind of mixed the two up. But yeah. I've always teleportation. Think about how amazing your life would be. You have to go to work for 8 a.m. You just get ready for 7:58. Teleport to work.
Yeah. I think about that superpower and about shape-shifting.
True.
Yeah, because I feel that would be really cool too.
Yeah. Being able to live life as other people and
Right? Yeah. Yay, awesome. Thank you.
No problem.
And I guess we'll get into our topic for today, and our topic is post grad depression.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah. So my first question, Mango, what was the first month like when you graduated, right after you graduated? Or
a lot of university students, you don't ever think about you're thinking about what happens after graduation, but I feel you can never prepare for what the actual experience is like, especially as someone that didn't want to go to grad school right after. So I didn't really have a plan. My plan was to get a job. I didn't know what job I wanted. And so that month afterwards is pretty horrible. Just because I think we finished exams in April, but my experience was good because I actually went to Trinidad after, and I got to see my family, and it was really nice because I haven't been back there in forever.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just still mentally, I think my body and mind was still trying to process that that was it. The structure is gone. You're on your own now. So I don't think the depression actually hit that month, the month after. I think it was a little bit after the actual graduation ceremony in June.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think it also kind of hits when school starts again.
Yeah.
Because then you're not actually going back to school, and you're just going to be an adult.
Yeah.
I guess, right? Yeah.
And I also think I didn't realize how much of a slump I was going to be in until I was deep in the slump, because the month after you're still you still feel like a student, you're still you're excited to graduate, and then you're looking forward to the actual ceremony, and it's still really fresh,
Yeah. So Mango, for when you actually graduated and went through grad, how was that experience like for you?
Like the ceremony?
The ceremony
Yeah.
and all that stuff, yeah.
It was actually, I mean, okay, on your podcast you talked about like the financial aspect of it, like about like how, I mean, we both went to UT,
yeah,
and like how actually was like, I think that was the beginning of the trauma, because I didn't pay off my tuition. So OSAP, our tuition was like 13K,
yes,
and OSAP only gave me 8K. And then the years before, I was like working in the summer to pay off the tuition, like throughout the year and the summer to pay off the tuition so that I could go back to school the next year. Which was only, I mean, admittedly, I only had to do it for my third year and my fourth year. But in fourth year, like I was just so stressed with like finishing all my assignments and everything. Like everything was late, but I was so stressed with that I didn't really work as hard. I wasn't like making as much money.
Yeah.
So on my actual graduation day, like I didn't even get my diploma. I still actually don't have it because like I had outstanding debt to U of T. So like that was hard because like everyone else got their diploma and it was like framed. But because I didn't pay it off, like I just got a letter saying like this is how you can get your this is the invoice, this is where you go. And that was pretty like sad because like everyone was taking pictures with their diploma and I just took a picture with the envelope because there was like nothing in it. So that, but it was like nice to see like all my friends and like, I mean you were there obviously, and like to see everyone that you like struggled with throughout school. You know, but I think that was like the beginning of like the downward spiral. You know?
I remember when because I didn't buy one of those expensive frames to go over it either, because that alone was like $200 for the frame for it. But I remember our friends, they were like, oh, everyone bring your diploma, blah blah blah. And then I knew your situation and I said, oh, why don't we just take a picture without it, because mine's like all
thank you for doing that. I remember that.
And then we got to take a picture without like all the weirdness,
because I'm just like let me just take a picture with the letter they gave me.
But and I know it's like something you probably, it's hard to tell people about that or your personal situations, right?
Like, I wasn't necessarily ashamed. Like, I mean, I feel like I was ashamed, but I wasn't ashamed because like I was like very much against the idea of like them not giving me my diploma because like I couldn't afford it, even though like it was just, you know, I mean, I get why. Like, but I don't know. It was like awkward, and then, like that whole thing, and like I don't know. My family was there. And, like, I have Caribbean parents, so, like, they're just eternally unimpressed with everything that you do. Like, I feel like, you know, like, they're taking pictures, but, like, they just looked, like, exhausted from, like, waiting around all day. It was, like, because you get there so early. Yeah. And then, like, there's, like, so many people. Yeah. And then they call your name, and, like, I also didn't make it, like, my GPA is, like, a 3.11, so I didn't make it to, like, the honors, and, like, that was really disappointing.
Everyone graduated with honors, but it was distinction.
Yeah, distinction. High distinction. Yeah, like if you get a 3.2 to 3 point, and then high distinction, I think is like something
4.
Yeah,
or something like
no,
that.
or like 3.4 above. Yeah, that was a goal I was really trying to work towards. But I think that like in fourth year, a lot of my grades like in the last semester like they didn't slip, but I didn't work as hard as I could have, just because like I was over it. I was mentally, spiritually exhausted. I just wanted to get things submitted, and like I didn't work as hard, so. That was hard too, like not like my like feeling like not sitting with all the distinction kids and like sitting with the regulars, you know. But
I never thought about that. I think I don't remember what it's called. Before you graduate and you're a senior, senioritis.
Yes. Oh gosh, that is like the realest thing. Because it's like I don't know. I think even in our program, a lot of things. They weren't repetitive. Like, they were repetitive. Like, we were doing, like, we were in fourth year, we were applying things that we learned in previous years. To, like, bigger projects. And so it didn't feel like you were learning anything new. It more felt like you were applying the things that you already learned. Yeah. So, like, it was just a year that I was, like, the least motivated. I felt the least like myself. I put on the most weight. And it was just not a fun time. And then I felt like just disappointed with myself all the time. Like, unsatisfied with who I was, what I was doing with my life, with my accomplishments. And it's like weird because like when you're little, I remember like in elementary school talking to my friend Miranda, shout out to her, she's listening, and being like, yeah, we're gonna go to U of T together when we're like, and you like look forward to university, and then you like get there and it's just you don't feel like the accomplishment is anything, you know.
So do you think like the depression part happens during your time in university, and then it kind of, you don't realize it, but it carries itself with you after you graduate?
I think I think I've actually always been depressed. Like, or I would say I always say that I'm mentally like a sad person. Like my mind is sad and I have like a happy soul. So like
Mm-hmm.
I think that looking back, I was a very high functioning sad person. I don't like know if the word depressed is the best one because I haven't been like diagnosed.
Yeah.
But I think what happens after school is that like all the distractions and like the goals that you set for yourself kind of like disappear, and then you're just left with this like emptiness of like, what do I do next?
Exactly.
And like when we were in school together, we like were part of so many different clubs. I was like playing soccer, like I was working a lot, and then I'm like, you go to like there's nothing, like you have no schedule, no structure. So
Yeah. Yeah, like part of it is just graduating and then trying to find yourself again.
yeah,
And be like, oh, well, was the person I was in university, am I still, does that still define
yeah.
me kind of thing?
Yeah, because like even with me, I got a scholarship to like the Miami Art School from the
Right, yeah,
and like
yeah,
I didn't even go because of the financial reason, like I couldn't afford to.
Yeah.
But then I was also like, is that what I even want to do? Do I want to be in advertising? Like, is that gonna be me? So it's like it was a huge commitment to like for a career choice that I'm not even sure about. I think that like to answer the question, that I think I was always sad. I didn't have anything to distract myself, and then it just got a lot like it just got progressively like worse. Like trying to find yourself but then not having any structure, and like your mental health is just like it's the first time in my life I was ever that I felt that like lost in life, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, I think when I graduated high school, the 2 years after that was when I was like, I don't know what word to use it, but I guess we can say the word depressed.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, of course, like I wasn't diagnosed with anything either. And right after I graduated high school is when I experienced just like really negative emotions, I guess you can say. And then also that feeling of just not knowing who you are or where to go or what to do kind of thing. And then the exact same feelings and thoughts came back after graduating university too, and it's like, okay,
and it's worse because like you're an adult and everyone expects you to be an adult.
God, yeah.
Like,
oh my goodness. After we graduated, how was your experience like experiencing with the post grad depression after?
it was literally like one of the most challenging things I had to go through in my life because I technically was like working for this I guess what do you call them? A small business, like a handbag company.
Right.
Yeah, you remember that. I will go into details about that.
I forgot.
But that was like another traumatic experience because I was like, I want to be more in the creative industry. I don't want to work for a corporation, like all this stuff, like trying to find myself as a creative person. And like, I feel like I made all the wrong decisions because I was like overthinking everything. But I learned a lot from that experience working with that company where I was definitely taken advantage of and like, you know,
I forgot about that.
It got to the point where like I would wake up, edit some video like stuff for pictures or like try to do like an hour worth of work for those whatever company I was working for. Well, I guess I can't even say working because I wasn't really getting paid that much, so it was basically volunteer.
Yeah.
And then I would just be in my bed. I couldn't even like watch Netflix. Like my brain was just so fried. I would just like literally lie down, play some League of Legends, like and like sleep. And then I would wake up and go like referee soccer and coach soccer because like my dad's really into that. So I felt like I was nothing, like just a shell of a person. Like I don't know. I feel like I'm answering the question really badly, but
no,
it was like
that was your experience, right?
But like it was just I don't know. I felt obviously it's hard to say this, but there was a lot of suicidal ideation. Like I don't know, like and it's bad because like I feel like I always think about like what it would be like to like trigger warning to not be alive, but like not in a way where I would actually act on it, but more so like as a like I would I wouldn't mind if I just ceased to exist. Like I felt like I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't doing anything important with my life. I was just like stuck and lost. Okay, so first I'll say trigger warning. Like talks about suicide. But like I think that I guess I'll start with saying this first. We're gonna probably talk about coming out of it afterwards. But looking back, in assessing my life, I realized that like I always from when I was little, I always thought about what it would be like to not exist, and like not in a way like I would be so afraid of killing myself. I was raised Catholic, like I don't want to go to hell, but like you know, that kind of stuff. But it's like the ideation of like thinking about what your life would like, what other people's lives would be like if you weren't around, like it would just be easier to not exist, and like that kind of dancing with those thoughts. And it's, I mean, you're thinking about everything under the sun, so I mean, the pain that I was experiencing was like such a, almost like a deep spiritual pain. Like it was like a existential, like, what's the purpose of my life kind of pain? Why am I here? Will people miss me if I was gone? Like, am I contributing anything? Do I have a purpose? Like, definitely really dark thoughts. And I really wanted to talk about this because I did talk to other people like in our program as well after. And like, I think for like a lot of people that want to be in a more creative industry, like, life after grad isn't really beautiful. Like, a lot of people don't make their best work till like their 40s. And so, you know, it's a really weird time for someone who studied something that's more creative and who wants to work in a creative industry, because like, you're just trying to figure out how to fit in, how to make money, how to pay off your debt, and like, it's just so confusing, isolating. And then you have your parents and your family like, just get a job. We paid all this money for you to go to school. You know, they made sacrifices for you when they come here. And then you just have all that guilt. I wasted all their, I'm a disappointment to them. I'm not doing anything. And then looking back, you're just like, it's because I literally couldn't do anything. Like, I wasn't mentally ready to like go to interviews and like put myself, make resumes about myself, do them properly. Like, I was just, my mental was like so broken, right? So, and I think that's kind of the bulk of the experience. And it was just a lot of lost, I have a lot of brain fog, so I don't really remember it, but I just remember looking back at the weekend and people asking me, like, even to this day, people ask me, like, what did you do this week? Or what did you do yesterday? And I'd be like, I don't know what I did. Because it's just, I feel like I just spent a lot of time just being in my bed, like, doing absolutely nothing and like, being a potato. And like, it's like when the comic book character, like when Batman goes to like see Bane and like he's in the darkness, like, you know, like that was what I feel like, maybe that was my moment to be at rock bottom.
Yeah.
You know, it could have been worse. I made it through. But that was like really rock bottom for me, because you know me, like, I was never someone to just do nothing with the day. Like, I'm always busy doing stuff. So, and then I talked to my parents afterwards, and my mom was like, oh yeah, I knew you were going through something, but like, you know, that's just your 20s. I mean, that's true, maybe, but like,
interesting.
I would have much rather not suffered in the way that I did. Especially, I think, I'm sorry for talking so much, but like,
no,
yeah, but I think especially the hardest thing was, it's hard to talk about it because when you're in it, you don't realize like how deep you're in it, and you can't really think of ways to get out of it. Yeah, you're just like so lost in like your own pain and misery, you know, and it's hard to like, people give you suggestions like, yeah, just apply here and do this, and it's not that easy because I don't even want to exist. So you know, but
I think when you were saying about being in the creative industry, and as a comparison, I guess people who go to school for nursing, say for example, you're in school for nursing, you're studying this to use it in the field, and then you do your co-op, and then you apply for that specific job, right? Whereas in the creative industry where we're in, you kind of have to be already in the creative industry before you even graduate. Yeah. And I think some people aren't there yet after they graduate, and then trying to find out how you fit in that industry that you want to be in after. Like, that's the hardest part too, you know?
I'm like, were you done talking?
Sorry. No.
But like, no, I'm really happy you said that, because I feel like you put into words what I couldn't express, like the idea that like, I want to work in film, and I want to be like more like, I want to work in film production and like create stories. I want to be a storyteller. That's like my life goal. But it's like, I wasn't telling stories before. I wasn't like, I don't have a big enough portfolio, and I'm just like, I don't know what I even want to say, but I know I have a lot of things to say. Exactly. Whereas there's people that like had cameras in high school and were like making things and have such great work already that like, I felt like I don't have, like, I want to work here, but what can I show that I can work here, you know? And that makes it worse.
I wonder, because that definitely happens, and then you go into that thing where you're comparing yourself, that you're like, well, I don't have a blog, I don't have a successful YouTube channel, I don't know, XYZ, this amazing portfolio that other people or other creatives have. Yeah. But I wonder, like, do nurses think about the same thing? Like, you're all, I don't know if it's like a correct way or correct way to compare. I
mean, I think comparison and like, I remember there was one thing that you were telling me, because I was also, I think looking back, I was very depressed in 4th year, probably the most depressed I've been in my life until after I graduated. And there was something like, I remember walking up the stairs and I was like, oh, I don't want to take the stairs. And you're like, oh, you know, you should be grateful that you have legs to take up the stairs. And at the time, it really pissed me off. I was like, it's all good. Like, we're like, I think that was like a moment. It's like when your parents say, like, tell you, like, you know what, like, buck up. You just gotta deal with it. It was like, the point, it was like the medicine I needed to hear at the time. Because I think that gratitude, not comparing yourself to other people, really does make it better. Like, it's like that's what, or I guess comparing yourself and being ungrateful for the things that you do have makes it worse.
Yeah.
When you said that, at the time I was pissed off, but I forgive you, because like, but like looking back, I was just like, you know, like it's like words that like I just kept repeating in my head, like you should be grateful, gratitude. And I was like, I can't believe this girl, like, because I also was struggling in 4th year with the fact that I don't think people realized how emotionally in distress I was. I found that people thought I was like being short-tempered and stuff, but I was like really in crisis, and like not many people noticed. So I'm like typically a happy person. I make a lot of jokes. And so that was just really triggering. I'm like, wow, like I'm miserable today, and this girl's trying to make me feel happy about gratitude, and like, but it was good because again, those words like rang through my head, and like that was something that I got an anchor, like thinking about, like, okay, at least I have it, like at least I graduated, at least like I have my family, I have a place to live, and like I think gratitude really helped. Like it like, you know, eventually clicked that I needed to be more grateful, but it was hard hearing it at first, not gonna lie.
I never thought about that, but maybe it's because we didn't communicate with each other how exactly you were feeling.
Yeah, I didn't tell anyone. Like, till after I was done being like that sad.
Wow.
You know?
I'm sorry that at the
Don't
time
apologize.
I missed you, but like I definitely said it out of good intention.
Yeah, for sure. Like,
yeah, but I'm glad that the gratitude helped after. That's so funny because I do remember that time.
Yeah.
And those stairs are so crazy, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my god. Yes, thank you so much for sharing, Mango. I guess moving forward is, how are you now, and what was the progress like getting to where you are now? Yeah.
I feel like now I'm in a different stage of existential crisis because I got a job. And like I'm a lot more financially stable than I've ever been in my life.
Wow, yeah.
But like I'm like learning the hard life lesson that following your passion worth more than any money you can ever make. And I'm trying to like actively make the changes to be more creative, because I settled. I didn't end up in a creative industry. I'm doing something that I actually hate to just make money. I think getting out of it, like as bad as it sounds, it was getting a job. Like my mom was like, girl, you cannot keep living like this. And she like said, like, they're hiring here, apply. And then I applied. And it was just like, as bad as it sounds, the structure, like having the structure of having to wake up and go to work, that was like that. I don't think I'm actually fully healed. I think that like now that the pandemic is hit, it's definitely spiraling back out again, because like, you know, there's the structure, but now there's like the missing of the social aspect. I don't get to see my friends as much, and like the distractions that I had before, because I mean I was also working 2 jobs, even like and having the 2 jobs and like hustling and working hard was again a distraction from like the emptiness that I always feel. So I don't think I've actually ever actually gotten fully out of it, but I think getting a job, and then I started going to the gym. I mean, even though like I know I can't swear, but like F good life, I hate them with a passion. I started like prioritizing taking care of myself, and like I know self-care is like a buzzword now, but I feel like in a real way, important. Like putting myself first and like really talking to myself and thinking about what I want in my life, envisioning what a happy life for me looks like. Like I know now that a happiness for me is having like a tiny house with my little garden outside and a cat, and like, you know, that's to me is like happiness. Like I know that, and then being surrounded by friends and good food, like I know that those things make me happy. So like focusing on taking care of myself mentally, like trying to eat better, even though I fail and have like donuts too much, but like actively putting myself first, and like not being like afraid that it's gonna make other people uncomfortable if I'm happy and stuff like that. So, and I think I'm still trying to figure out my purpose. I mean, I think I know my purpose is to be a storyteller, but I'm figuring out ways to actually be a storyteller, not just say that that's my purpose. I actually tell stories, and like I had to cut a lot of people out of my life, actually, people that I felt were not helping me grow, like really toxic friendships. honestly, sometimes getting rid of people like takes a whole load off of your shoulders. So that's where I am now, and that's how I got there.
Yeah. I think going back to just working jobs just to work
Yeah.
and just to like figure it out and just to pay off your student loans and
Yeah.
all that stuff, like that process is also what brings, I guess, that post grad depression.
Yeah.
Because in your head you envision like, okay, cool, I'm doing Mango and I did a lot of extracurricular activities where we're like, this is gonna help in the future kind of thing, because you're giving yourself this experience, right? And then the idea is you're gonna graduate, you're gonna get a creative 9 to 5 job, then you're just like, that's it. Like, then you're just gonna live a whatever good life.
Yeah.
And
don't even trigger it. Good life.
Yeah. Then you're just gonna live like a life that you kind of want or whatever. But in reality, that's not how it works. It's like you work 10 odd jobs, which I've done, and then
you work so hard. Like, I'm so proud of you. You inspire me, like, not in a corny way, but like, I also think that's another thing, like having you as a friend, because we did end up like seeing each other like a lot, and every time I saw you, it felt like my spirit was like drowning, and you were lifting me out of it. You know, just like being around like someone who's like has such a good energy, and like,
thank you.
That really did help. Because then we talk and we make goals like, oh yeah, we want to be out of debt by this time, and like we're talking to each other about it, and I really just think you're one of the first people that opened up to about it, like
about the debt part,
about debt and like my mental health. Like, I wasn't really open because I'm like, my brand is happy. Like, no one, and I realized really quickly that people like to see me when I'm not happy, and so I always just try to hide that part of myself, but then it ends up coming out anyway. So you know,
it's funny that you say that, because so my friend is a very happy person, and me and him, I feel like people consider us as very like happy, positive. Oh my god, like they're always laughing and stuff. But low key, everyone goes through their own and just because they appear so happy, they're like deep down there's stuff going on, right? You know, and I think that you experience too, bringing it out loud or just telling people like you're human, right? You're gonna experience those things, right?
We're all broken, and some of us are gonna be broken, a lot more broken at different parts in our lives, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know? But yeah, going back to the ideal process after graduation, that's not what happens, and you're just figuring out what that process is like for you.
It's funny because like we both had plans, and then like self-doubt kicks in. You just don't follow the plan. You're like, I don't think this is for me. Like, you start to question everything, and then you deviate from the plan, and then it's just like a mess. And I think, but I honestly, looking back, I'm just like, I think I'm a much more like compassionate person now. I'm a lot calmer now after going through what I've gone through, because I know that I can go through anything. But also, because I'm like, I recognize now that like a lot of other, like, what, I don't know, I feel like it helped me grow up a little bit. Like, it was literally like the harshest pull out of childhood.
Oh gosh,
you know, like adulthood really hits you with like a, you know, in the face
after you graduate. That's a huge thing. And I think I can relate to you in so many ways, because even when you got accepted to the Miami Ad School, and then for me, I got accepted for post grad in event marketing or something like that, and at the time I didn't accept it because of that as well. And then, but we both know that that's a direction that we want to take, but then money holds you back, and you're just like, well, then what do I want to do with my life now? So
and I'm just like, I couldn't take that 30K. Like, it's like so expensive. I'm like, another 30K plus I'm already like 10K. Like, you know, it was just
our program was so expensive.
Well, I mean, and because it's also at a time when like you aren't making money. Like, we were both working, but all the money I made was for school.
Exactly.
So like, I felt like I was working so hard, and I was still feeling very poor, very broke. You know?
Yeah, I hated that, because I would work so many jobs, and people like, oh, how you got money? You're rich now. You're like, no, like, you know how expensive my tuition is?
Or like your tuition, books, food, like just, you know, but
trying to enjoy my life, kind of thing too.
Like, because I mean, I just want to get it out. You don't have to put it, but like the fact that you mentioned too, like, creativity is such a fluid thing. Like, whereas like there's no correct path to being someone that like has a creative like life. And so some people, well, like I said, will make their best work in their 40s, and then some people like, even our program, like, you know, there's people like making amazing things in like their first year, right?
Exactly, right.
And like accomplishing amazing things, but like that's their journey, and like, maybe like, as bad as it's, maybe they'll peak then, and they'll never make anything greater after that, right?
You
like,
never know.
So, or maybe they'll continue to make great things, but like, you know,
Yeah, I agree. Like the creative industry or just like the entrepreneurial industry.
Yeah.
Because I guess I'm gonna go back to the comparison of being a nurse or whatever.
Yeah.
But for our industry, like we're doing university, and like is university the correct path for doing what we want to do?
Who knows?
Or like after university, you have to take a specialized program to do exactly what you want to do or whatever.
And it's all like money. Like
Yeah.
it's all money. It's like I could easily learn these things and I can be qualified, but it's like I need to spend money to get this piece of paper.
Yeah,
or like, you know.
exactly. Whereas like could you have been doing it this whole time without that price?
Yeah.
Right? Because I remember I wanted to go do that post grad that I got accepted in, and then one of my bosses at the time said, "Could you get the same job without having to take that program?"
Yeah.
Oh damn, like I never really thought about that.
Yeah.
Like I guess so. So I think that also made me step back on doing the program that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Everyone's also telling you what you have to do,
Yeah.
and you're not listening to what you truly want to do.
I agree. I think if I had followed my heart from even like high school and like really was like I want to be a storyteller, I would have taken story, like I would have taken more drama courses. I wouldn't have been so academic focused.
Yeah.
Maybe would have chosen a different university program.
Yeah.
Like,
or college.
yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah.
maybe would have went directly to film school or like just more writing intensive program or like studied animation, which I want to do now. Like taking like, you know, there's so many things that I could have done now. But like I can't look back. I'm where I am now. I have to go forward.
Exactly.
And that's more, I guess, the thing I took away from this experience is that like you just got to keep moving forward. Like that's all you really have is like the next step that you have to take, right?
Mm-hmm. Like one day at a time, as what we were talking about earlier. I think
that was a good show.
Yeah. I think also my friend and I talk about this a lot, but being the first immigrant child.
Oh God.
Yeah, like that's a whole story or a whole episode in itself. But I think for me and you, I feel like we're the first immigrant child, right? So that's like a huge thing, and maybe your sibling has it. It feels like your sibling has it better because they have a direction where you were able to kind of guide them in a way,
and they have me to support. Like my brother's applying to universities now. Like they can learn from our mistakes, and in the sense, like I think the firstborn is just always the most mentally like unstable because we're like, you know, but that's another podcast topic.
Oh my god,
being a firstborn daughter from an immigrant family.
So going back to your takeaway point of, I think we wanted to just share what kind of advice that we would give to someone who's graduating from university or college or whatever, post-secondary.
One of the things that was like, it's like a painful process, accepting all the feelings that you're feeling and addressing them. Like, I've never done psychedelics, but I'm assuming it's something similar. Like, I think it's like the best example I can have. But like, I've never done them, just clarifying. Of like being like going through that whole spiral to come out like reborn almost. Like, and I also don't want to frame like depression like that because that's my experience. And some people it's like a lot more long term. It's like I'm still a very like experiencing, but I think that like that super rock bottom for me. And being fortunate enough to like have the support systems to get out of it. I think that like allowing myself to feel everything and to be miserable kind of like definitely helped heal. Because I think the problem was that I went through a lot of my life denying my misery. And it doesn't make it easier if you never address it. It just builds up until like you can't take it anymore.
Oh my god.
And like being confident in whatever decisions, like if you have a dream and you feel like something is your purpose, you will never be fulfilled until you actively try to seek out that purpose. Like don't let other people derail you, be like, oh, it's not realistic. Don't let other people like tell you like that's not the path for you, or like you can do it this way. If you feel in your gut like you'll regret not following that dream, and you're gonna end up doing it anyway, and you'll be because I'm telling you, like
it's so true.
More financially stable than I've ever been. I paid off $8,000 of my tuition this year, like, you know, but I feel like a lot more miserable because I feel like I don't have a purpose, you know. So
oh my gosh, I can relate to you so much because like I paid off a lot of tuition too. I think I did $13,000.
Yeah, that's people don't realize how hard to pay off debt because you're literally paying off something and you're not getting anything back. Like
and then after, I feel like for us, we focused on paying off debt first to do something that we truly want to do after. Which really sucks, but then going through that is
like 2022, we're about to be having our best life.
You know, give us a couple years. But yeah, going back to one of the takeaway points, like I definitely agree that just having that support system and also being real with how you truly feel,
Yeah.
right, is both really helpful, because
Yeah.
I feel like last year was my lowest point, I guess, and during that entire time I would just cry every single week to like Matt.
Yeah.
And just having him be there and just like having someone to listen to you or understand you, or even me and you, and we'd meet every week and we would just like, you know, we're watching a movie and we feel the feels, we just cry it out, but then that's therapeutic in itself and like helps you move forward for what you want to do, right?
And like sometimes, as bad as it sounds, you're gonna have to be your own hero. Like it's literally you're gonna be your own hero. Like not especially like that's like the harshest reality is that of being an adult is that literally no one's coming to save you. Like no one's gonna come pay your tuition for you. No one's gonna help you figure out what job's best for you. Like it sucks. It's pretty horrible.
Oh my gosh, it's so true. Yeah.
And you just have to do it for yourself, and it's like literally that's just adulthood, and it sucks.
Oh my god.
But when you realize it and you believe in yourself and you like make plans and goals, like you can do it for sure.
Agreed. Oh, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mango. Thank you for being part of this episode and sharing your experience and just being like really real and vulnerable with us.
Thank you for having me. Like this was actually really therapeutic. Like just and I hope that people hear it and like even though it was like word vomit, but and they relate. So
I think it will definitely help other people though.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Of course. Okay. Thank you everyone. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.